You guys are going to be awesome. This is episode 2, and we're talking about New Year's resolutions. So again, just so you know, inside of Shawn Shield, this idea is that you come into this arena and the brand protects you from the outside trollers. We get to have a good discussion here. Whether we agree, disagree, doesn't matter. We're just going to kind of talk it through. And you guys take what you want. Write your comments in the comment section below. You'll have a connection to his website and all of the stuff, all this beautiful audio that you're hearing either in your ear or, yeah, well, I guess you're hearing it in your ear, but usually either in your car or your, I want to say iPhone, because I believe every other phone is just satanic. You could be listening to that. It's fine. I don't dislike Android. It just dislikes me. And all the other phones that go along with that. It's coming from Jasper's studio. Check it out. In the link, you got some work to do. This man can do it either on site in his studio or via, I want to say internet. And if you don't do that already, well, now it's happening. So you can just like send him your work. And there you go. So he'll do all that for you. And I'm sure he's going to give you a competitive rate and you could sort that out. And if you're
always
any of my stuff, you just, again, it's in the bottom. You can see the website, the Facebook page, and the Instagram. I think I have. I do have Twitter, but it's just a repost from Instagram. So I know, lazy. I just don't use Twitter. I just really don't use it.
You should, man.
Yeah, I do, but I feel like Twitter is the thing that's got everybody in trouble. Like everyone's like, "Oh, you posted on Instagram. Oh, okay, you're okay. You're okay." You see that post they did on Twitter? Like every time you hear a story, it's about someone who said something on Twitter.
You're right.
Like
it's different cultures.
Like if I was the owner of a sports team and I had like a whole bunch of athletes on my, well, obviously if you're a sports team owner, I would say, listen, who has Twitter? Put your hand up. You know, we do that even if they're grown men. They put their hand up.
They would.
Me. And I would say, listen, as long as you're on my team and you are my employee, it is company policy that you do not have a Twitter account. This will make it easier for you to have a job and continue to have a job.
Disagree, but that's another topic.
I only say that because I want you to continue. I feel guys get the bad rap because they say something, and social media is so sensitive that you say something and everyone takes it out of context and how you said it, and you might have been angry yourself and you just posted it. I know there's self-responsibility that you have to take in. Right?
There's maturity in that too.
Right, but some people say you make a responsible comment, like a mature comment, and then someone's like, "Oh, hate speech," or whatever.
But it's hard on Twitter because you only have 140 characters.
Isn't it more now? For 250 or something?
Last time I checked, you're right, though. Guilty. It's been a while. But last time I checked, it was still 140. So everything gets lost.
Right.
Because you only have 140 characers. So
definitely. So you have less words to get yourself in trouble. But think about it. You have a $10 million contract, okay? Let's go baseline. You're getting minimum salary in the NFL. So that's almost $500,000 plus benefits, okay?
You're right.
Is it worth it for that tweet or to have that kind of a battle on the outside? I don't know why I'm kind of getting down on this, but maybe it's because it's leading into our topic today, which is New Year's resolutions, the fails, the successes. I don't know. We're just going to talk about it. You guys got questions, you can hit them out. So cool. But so in line with Twitter, like, is that, some people clean up their social media in their new year, right?
Yeah.
Like, did you ever do anything like that? Like clean up all of your stuff? Like friend list, like post on Facebook, I'm cleaning up my friend list. So if you've made this.
Oh, no. No, I've done it without warning.
Okay. But you didn't write on Facebook later.
No.
If you're reading this, you still made the cut?
Yeah, exactly. No, just I don't know. This just drama for nothing. I've done it a lot on Instagram, actually.
Okay.
Lately. I've been going through accounts that I just don't interact with.
Okay.
Because it's easy to get cluttered. But no, I've never, maybe Twitter would be the place to do that. But I just feel it's dramatic to if you made this cut or if you don't answer in the next 30 days, I'll remove you from it. I've seen that. So no.
No, I feel like when you cut people, it's so hard for me to cut people.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to. I feel like if I do this, we've ended our friendship, even though it's only as deep as Instagram or Facebook or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, ugh.
My wife taught me this trick though. You can't on Facebook, you can unfollow people, I think, but not unfriend them. So that means that let's say there's this certain person that always posts things that get to you and annoying.
Yeah.
So what you do is that you unfollow them so you don't see their posts anymore.
Yeah.
but you're technically still on their friend list.
True, but my wife, she did this to somebody recently. Well, not recently. I don't know who. I don't even know the name of the person. So she unfollowed somebody.
Yeah.
She still got posts from this person.
Oh, really?
And it was bizarre. I'm like, why are you getting these posts? And then, the worst part is when you do that, then you think, did anybody unfollow me or like anything like that?
Yeah,
right?
you get paranoid.
And you go look, and you're like, I go check out with a friend and I'm like, I'm not your friend anymore on Facebook. Excellent. So you went out of your way.
Karma.
And I flip it back on. You went out of your way just to go click unfriend. Like, what was it that I was sending to you that you didn't like? And yeah.
But no, like I think I've done it once or twice. Like I don't do it every year because I have this. Some people may disagree with my philosophy about social media, but you know how there's a lot of people that are against social media. Mm-hmm. My point of view is that you can't hold back technology and you can't hold back where it's going. So everything's going towards there. So you might as well embrace it because it's either you agree or not. It's still going there. And for me, social media is like it's how can I say this? Like cleaning up my social media pictures or whatever, it feels like if I'm avoiding or fleeing from my past. Like let's say you posted a picture that now you regret it. Hey, it happened.
Right.
Makes part of your life. Leave it there. But that's how I see it. It's more philosophical.
And I would say that, and I say no at the same time. Like I get it, but this
unless you radically change your life. That's
but even then, so you dramatically change your life. But I look back at so many things now that companies do when they look at hiring, or partnership with somebody. First thing they go do is check out your social media. Yeah. First thing, because your resume, which is the old school way, was like, here's my highlight, kind of like in football. Okay, so what happens is like a guy is about to graduate from one program and go to another. Like, so let's say going from high school to college. Yeah. Okay, and what the player will do is make like their highlight tape. So all of their best plays that they've ever made, and then they'll send that to you in like a 3-minute clip, and you'll watch it, right? And you're supposed to think as an evaluator that is the player, that is the player I'm getting.
Yeah.
But the smarter guys eventually start asking, can I have your highlight tape is great? I like that. Can I have your best game tape? So at least that. So I want all of your game.
Gotcha.
So they're going to see all of the plays. They're going to see how many times you take breaks, how many times you're not going 100%.
Yeah.
And so the same thing with your social media. If you don't clean that thing up, man, like I know that when I made a life change, there was things I had to just I had to just remove them, especially the way that internet is moving now. You put it on the internet and it's like next to impossible to get rid of it, right? It's there. It's like there inevitably. And
like someone somewhere in Google is going to find it.
Yeah, right, totally. And then so you're sitting there like a sitting duck with this double barrel shotgun at your face. And you're like, you know what?
I agree. But then if you have to do it every year, in my opinion, there's a problem.
Well, yeah, and that's right.
You're not learning.
No, you're not right. You're not learning at all. Well, it's funny, like as I got out of university and as my friends started my friends graduated with me and some other friends were still in, but they graduated and their social media lives changed dramatically. Because then they realized, I'm not getting hired. Why? Well, let's
Wonder
go.
Why.
People go and just type you in. They just type you into any kind of search engine and find your name. Like if I'm looking for somebody and everything shows up. I'm like, oh, that's what you're like on LinkedIn. You don't look the same like you do on Facebook.
Never.
And you look at Twitter. I'm like, what? Like, okay, so which one is the most consistent here? And I mean, I can get all of my data. Right from social media, like okay, which outlet do you use the most? Which one do you have the most consistent dialogue on? And then I know who I'm dealing with, right? The best thing for me that I know when someone's looking at, I guess, at my social media, and like let's say in a booking, okay, so I'm getting a booking, and I get a notification of someone who liked a picture from 2014.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, you went that deep.
Facebook creeping.
Well, they did, right? Because they want to know. They want to know your consistency. I guess is your New Year's resolution this year is consistency, right?
Yes, sir.
Which is a daunting New Year's resolution in the sense that, like, if you're not as a consistent person as you'd like to be, when you see the word consistency, it often is a fear. Like I know that consistency for me was my last year's resolution, and with the videos, it'll be in the link description. The link description. the motivational videos I did, right?
But you did great.
Right. But it was, I'm like, this has got to demonstrate consistency.
Yeah.
Is it doable?
Yeah.
Like, am I just saying this or am I for real about it?
Yeah.
Right. And so, okay. So then I went from, well, I need to get started early so that if I have a couple of weeks where I fail, I'll still be able to do at least a whole year of videos.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But at that point I was like, you know what? I'm just doing so consistent. Let's just make it round trip. Right. And it ended up kind of so bittersweet in New York. At like the exact same place where it started, the video ended, right? So it's like full year of consistency in this one project. Well, what I did notice about it is that consistency started to spread. So I was like,
gotcha.
Like that idea of, and I learned things about consistency, and maybe I'm just telling you, I don't know. In consistency, I learned that when you start to see things long term quicker. Because you're like, how can I be consistent at this? That's great to make this big hoorah, but if I can't be consistent all the way through this because it's so complicated or so, it's just so much manpower just to move it each time. This is not good.
But I like what you said about long term, because in the past the past 3 months, I don't know what happened, but it just radically changed my point of view of everything in my life. Everything is long term now.
Yeah.
I don't look at things short term anymore. So like consistency or you know whatever. But sorry, I cut you off. But,
no, it's all good.
Yeah, but I mean about New Year's resolution consistency. Last year, I remember, and I don't know why I feel that last year went by so quick, because I remember January 1st, 2017, where I was, pulled out my phone, opened my notes application, and started writing my resolutions for the year. And looking back at that, I was still looking for consistency, but I wasn't smart about it. I wanted to be consistent in so many things at the same time. It's just, going from 0 to 100. Right? I'm the only one who does that, right?
No, you're not, definitely not. For sure. Well, maybe. No, it's not at all. I think that I'm a little older than you are, so just a little older. And poquito.
On some things.
Yeah, and so I learned that late though.
Yeah.
I love to do a lot of things. I really do. I like to do a gazillion things. I'm like, always change. Let's change the pace. Let's just go from first to fifth and from fifth to first. Let's just do it, right? And then turn left, turn right. I don't care. That's me. But I realize that's not consistent, and everything starts to break down very quickly.
Domino effect.
And then you're like, you're not doing that out of fun, like going from one to another out of a state of enjoyment, but more as like, I have to. Pressure. I have to go from this to this, like right now, right? Exactly. And then you're like, you don't get good sleep. Your relationship starts like diminishing, like, and then the joy of the things that you like to do, they start to diminish, right? So it's
and then we trick ourselves into thinking that if I'm doing a bunch of things at the same time, I'm being super productive, and then and you just drop the ball on everything.
I remember I had started a project. Oh, it's brutal. Just awful. I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it for the next, 5 weeks, I think it was, or something like that. And it was part of, I think it was a youth group thing I was doing. And I did one. It was so hard and so awful that I just didn't do it again. And I told myself, you're going to do it even if it's awful. You're going to work your way through it. You're going to charge, and you're going to make it happen. And no, it failed. And I've had lots of resolutions that fail. Like, I'm going to do 1,000 sit-ups every day.
Yeah.
That lasted like a week. I remember once I used to like go up there were stairs in my parents' house. I was like, okay, if I do 10 calf raises on each stairway on the way up, man, my calves are going to get D's, and I'm going to be so fast. But then what would happen is like I'd do that, and then I'd go to bed, and I was just so wired because I was like, I had like, I don't know, like 20 some steps, and each leg, one leg, 10. It has 2,000 calf raises on each leg. I can barely walk, like coming back out of it. It's just stupid. Yeah. But I think it's one thing like to put out an unrealistic expectation for a New Year's resolution, and the other to not put anything out.
Yeah, you have both extremes, right?
And I would always on this instant, I think most of my life is like that, but I would side on not on the place of caution, but of risk. I would just go full risk. I'm like, oh, you know what? Because what's the worst that can happen if I try for the highest and I hit the middle? That's good. Because that's better than nowhere, right? So if I say I want to be a billionaire and I become a millionaire, is that bad?
At all. But
So
then I find that most of the time on paper that sounds good.
Yeah.
But then when it really happens, you're like discouraged.
yeah, I guess so. True, because you don't like almost every artist, and I don't think they understand the greatness or the struggle that is required in all of the, as we were talking pre-podcast, the miraculous that has to come into place for someone else to hear your music.
Dude, yeah.
You know, it just one person to listen to your music.
Especially today.
Like all of the stuff that has to come together, right? You have to, like, I mean, I get like incessant on the details, but you have to get the funding. Then you have to get yourself there.
Yeah.
Then you have to not get sick while you're there.
Yeah.
Then your voice has to be on point. Your playing has to be on point. The other musicians have to understand what you're trying to do. Then it's all got to come together. Then the producer, the sound guy, they've got to do their job. Right? And
So
taking
many steps.
not just what you've played, but taking it so now it becomes palatable to our ear, right? So we can hear it in a way that's like, oh, wow,
Yep.
right? So we can hear all the subtleties and all the nuances within the music, and then for sure hit the regular climactic areas and like, wow, right? And
Exactly.
and then to get all of that done, then you have to send that all the way off to some place to get a CD made or put it into an MP3 format. And then you got to get it onto iTunes, onto CD Baby, onto Amazon or Google Play or whatever it is, whatever platform or Spotify. And then someone has to search your name or have to have gone on that site so many times that there's like, here's something that I think is recommended to you because you've listened to this,
But
this,
people
and this.
forget that because a lot of people, they shoot it on iTunes and all that, and then they sit and wait.
Yeah. No.
So
Right.
then you have to push, then you promo, and then
and all that stuff,
someone
right?
clicks, and then
And then you finally get what was like a true fan. So you have your family, which is always your fans. They just are. Like my wife will let me preach. She'll let me talk. She's cool with that, right? But then I have people who like to hear me preach, or hear me talk. They just like it.
Yeah.
And so that's really interesting to me. I'm like, that took a lot to happen because there's so much stuff that has to come together in order to have that happen. So, and then when you have this artist who have these issues, like no one's listening to my music. Well, did somebody listen to it? Yes. Okay. So that's the first miracle.
Gotcha.
Now let's just keep developing that and then learning from how do we go from this zero space into getting that one listener, that one fan.
Yeah.
Right. And then go from there to the next thing. And I think that's the same way when it comes to New Year's resolutions. Man, shoot as high as you can. Make your plan in steps that you can personally accomplish, right?
Exactly. Be realistic about it.
Yeah. Like I have the most audacious goals. Like I really do. Yeah. Like my goal is that I want to be fully speaking for the rest of my life. That's all I want to do.
Yeah.
Okay. And I want to be able to travel, not just to travel, but like do conferences or
like
schools
touring.
or whatever, touring. And I want to hit 56 days a year, dates. So like whether it's along for a week or whatever.
But that's for the next year?
Not this year, but that's my goal.
Yeah,
okay,
your
is to
goal
be able
eventually.
to get there. Right now, last year was 24 dates. I made a number in the middle of the year was 24 dates was acceptable for my wife and I. And we hit that number like bang on. And so that I got to tell you guys how that works. Okay. So my wife and I agreed that I would be able to leave the house on a speaking, like she's like an overlord. You cannot leave the house. But she's saying like, okay, what's good for our family? What's good for our relationship? And what's good for, the growing of what you do. Right. And she said, we came to this conclusion. So if I was gone 24 times, so 24 weekends is what we said. Excluded the summer because she could come with. So whatever event she could come with, that was it.
Yeah.
So we hit 24 on the nose. And I made this in the middle of the year. I was like, maybe 24 would be a good idea. So we tried 24 and it worked. So this year we're at 24 and I'm like, well, maybe we can try 36.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just to see
Push
if we
it a
can
little bit
push
more.
it, if we can and we're not, right? And then evaluate on this relationship, in our relationship with my kids, with my wife. Is this a good thing? Yes or no? And I'm not sure. So we'll find out. I mean, the dates just started coming in and it's pretty cool. So we'll see what that is. But it's like I put that plan out there. Here it is. And then I started looking at like, oh gosh, I have a book.
Yeah.
And the book is going to come out shortly. My goodness, it's a lot of writing. I can't wait for this thing to be over and break through on this thing. But yeah, so we're breaking through. And so then I have that I got to put inside of this New Year's resolution that's forever and ever long, right? Like, so it's like I have this resolution. Now there's these new things that happen. Is this resolution still doable inside of all these new things that are being added to it, right? So like got the book. I was like, oh, I have to write something else in it, not to change it. So then like my idea was to have that book done in a year. It's going to be more like a year and a half. And then it's done. Right. And then we go to this next stage. I got to write 3 more books on top of that one book. But that's planning on its own thing. And then I'm like trying to write and be able to go do all of these talking things. Do I have rest in there? Do I have recharge? Do I have relation? Like, you know, so is it a good New Year's resolution? I think so. And like, I mean, I haven't come up with my New Year's resolution yet. No. I'm waiting for it to sit on me. Like, okay, that's what I need to like. Okay.
Yeah.
I've used the word consistency before. I don't want to use that word now because then it means I didn't do it before. So maybe I'm just afraid of it. But I think that I would be leaning to something that would be like that word. If my wife listens to this, I am not going to be happy. I'm going to be very happy, but I don't want to tell her that this is my New Year's resolution. And my New Year's resolution, I was thinking about it actually last night and a couple nights before, and this is live. That's happening right now. I'm letting this. I'm putting this out into the universe. Finish the movement. Oh.
Finish the movement.
Finish the movement. My wife says it to me all the time. So finishing the movement is like you start cooking, you finish cooking.
Yeah.
You start washing the dishes, you finish washing.
Finish what you start.
Right, but like in succession. So I don't start something here, put it down, and then go do this other thing.
Yeah.
And then come back and then have to do that, right? It's like when if you wash dishes, if you stop halfway through, it takes you so much longer to get back to it.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're just like in the road, you just go and it's done, 15 minutes or whatever, 20 minutes depending on the day, and it's done.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking in my head, if I just finish the movement, how much different would my life be? How much better or worse would my life be? I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of where I'm at. You're at consistency. I'm at finish the movement. Mireille, better not listen to this. I'm not calling it finish the movement.
She's your favorite fan. So she's your number one fan. So she will.
Yeah, she will. She'll be totally cool for it. But so I guess that's my New Year's resolution. Diego, tell me like one of your resolutions that just like bombed, like just not even close.
Okay, well, there's the classic I'm going to the gym one.
Okay, yeah. That happens every year. Yeah.
There's that one. But yeah, like New Year's resolution. Like serious, reachable New Year's resolution, I'd say I started last year. Like seriously about it. But one of them at the beginning of the year, and this is more towards my business, my recording studio. And once again, I believe a lot in social media and all that. So the first one was that I wanted to post 3 times a day on Instagram.
Wow.
Because I've been listening to this guy who he said the more you post, like the better it is, right? Because the more content you put out, the more, and like good content, not just a picture for whatever reason. And people who have seen my Instagram page, like I always try to post pictures and like mix in tips or production tips or for artists or whatnot. And I want to do it like 3 times a day, like hardcore. And I think like at best for a while, I did it once a week. And that was good. That was good for me. So that's one that it was just unrealistic. And because he was doing it or because other people were doing it, I was like, yeah, I can do it too.
Yeah.
But I guess I wasn't that radical about it, or I didn't want it that much.
But I honestly, I don't know if all of it's, and I don't want to give like people victim or doors out.
Yeah.
Not giving you that. No. Yeah, you failed. Okay.
I did. Big time.
I still got mad love for you. Okay. So don't worry.
All right.
But what I think is that sometimes we see things that other people we really like or admire, and we attempt them. It's like I can't sing to save my life. I can't. Like if that was the cause of the end of the universe, there was some big dictator, and he said, "Okay, line up. If you could sing, you live." Well, I'll walk myself over to the death line. Like I know what's happening.
Yeah.
Right. It'll probably be worse if he hears me sing, or she, or whoever that is. Right. I don't judge. I mean, I don't discriminate. But yeah, we see that and we go, maybe I can do that. And then we get in the arena and we're like, we don't have those gifts. We don't have those tools. We're not designed that way, and which is fine. It's totally good. It's like when I started speaking, I tried to speak like everybody else. And the best I ever spoke was always when I didn't speak like anybody else.
Yeah, gotcha.
You know, so it's like when I was just Shawn.
Same here. Like for the longest time, I was following pretty much step by step this mixing engineer like tips. Then my wife once told me, she's like, "Do you mix like out of your head, or are you following this guy's tips?" I'm like, "Yeah, guilty." And then at the end of 2017, I started mixing. I was like, "Okay, I've done this like for at least 2 years consistently. Let's just do Jesper sound." And dude, I've never had a better mix in my life, like lately. So, anyways, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like that's just and I'm with you on it. It's like, and I say that saying don't stop learning. Like I still listen to those guys, like the guys I admire, man. I listen to them like, wow, did he ever put that together? They put that together like, with an awesome sauce right there. Yeah. So there's something to be learned. I'm like, okay, so how did they do that? Now, how do I make myself do that?
Yeah.
Not the way that they construed it together, but the way that I do it. Like there's a couple of guys I listen to, I know I'll never be able to talk like, just know. I've already have it. It's good. It's fine.
Even if you admire them and you like the way
and
they do it.
I listen to them, and I realize something. Those are the people that can teach me.
Yeah.
Because I can listen to them. I don't see myself as on the, like, I don't want to say as equals, but as like, okay, they're different than me, clearly different than me.
Yeah.
So how do I learn from them? And then to the audience or the place that I have influence, how do I take that, put it through the Shawn Naylor filter, and then put it out?
Well, that's an influence. Like, there's a difference between who's your influence and who are you copying. Yeah. It's like what you're talking about. Like, I think that you have to have influences. I mean, they kind of build what you do in your craft. So, so that's great. So you're influenced by this person, by this person, by this person, but all those ingredients make Shawn Naylor's speaking skills. Right. And the same with with what you're doing with your studio. Like, you were doing it, like everything that this guy had said, you were doing it tit for tat. Yeah. But what that makes you do is use muscles that you never used before. Yeah. Or you're just learning how to use those and what they do. Yeah, exactly. So like, let's say for example, like I speaking, right? So I used to just like write 3 points down and go. Yeah. Awful. It was okay. Like sometimes it would be hit or miss. I had a lot of misses. Okay. And then I tried some other things, a couple other things, and I tried to do like read word for word what I wrote. I got to say what I wanted to say, but man, I was falling asleep, and I was the one doing it, right? I was the one speaking. Yeah. But the part that I got the best was when I would do it. I would write it out and just practice it, and then bring the notes with me. People think I look at my notes when I look down. I just do that because my brain needs a break for a second. Gotcha. Like it's kind of like you're watching me have attention deficit disorder. Yeah. Or I'm like, okay, I need a little change of pace here. Yeah. I just cool. It scrolls up. Literally, I'm like, it scrolls up. It scrolls down. This is so like if you got to see my notes, it's all color coded like a little 3-year-old. I'm like, oh, cool. That's red. Oh, I put those two. I made this. That's what goes through your mind. And I'm like, this is what I'm thinking when I'm going through this. And he was like, oh, he's so deep and brooding. Oh, I understand. Wow. Oh, he's funny. And I'm like a little kid, like, wow, I got to make it bigger, made it smaller. This is cool, right? But I learned from that there's things to learn from other people, 100%. And none of that is wasted. It's because I tried it. It doesn't work. What if I had tried that and it did work? Yeah. Right? And it was like, oh, I found myself, boom, and I pedal to the metal, and we go, right? Yeah. And you're just like, I mean, every golfer learns how to use almost every club, and then they figure out what clubs work the best for them. For that, yeah, exactly. But they're all still playing the same game, right? Yeah. Like you'll get 2 golfers or 3 golfers who have this exact same shot, and they will use a different club. And sometimes they're going to use, and sometimes the same golfer is going to use different clubs for different situations. Yeah. Different kind of land, different kind of, Yeah. So yeah, agreed. And like, not everybody's going to have that textbook stroke when they go through with that golf swing, right? Some going to have an inside, some going to have a draw, a little bit of a fade, whatever, right? Yeah. But you're like, it works, right? It works. Whatever gets you. It's your tool, right? So you use that and you do your best with it. And I think that's another thing that in doing your New Year's resolution, if you do your best, I think that's just like not like it could be your New Year's resolution, but in any New Year's resolution, no matter what it is, you want to cook more. If you do your best at trying to cook more, you will do it.
If you try to do your best, my coach always said, if you do your best is good enough.
Yeah.
Right. So whatever your best is. So I know that when I do my best, and I was like, wow, it's good.
There's different, philosophies. Like for me, I always am at my best, but every time my best has to go further.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because if it's only the same, you're not getting better.
No, totally.
So yeah, my best always has to be like, I always tell people that my biggest competition in my business, it's myself. So every mix has to be better than the one before. Every recording has to be better than the one before that I did. But for example, a resolution that I was able to reach this year was financially. Like I set a number that I wanted to reach, and I thought it was kind of audacious.
Yeah.
But in the end, like I just, I hit it and beyond. So I was happy about that. But other resolutions, like the social media one, like I guess that as years go by, it's not only in the teenage years, but like all your life, you get to know yourself a little bit more. So another resolution that I have for this year, like when it comes about consistency, is that at the end of last year, I decided that I want to start vlogging, right? And I did one. And that's it.
It's so hard, man.
Because going back to what you said like a few minutes ago, it was so much work the first time. Yeah. I was like, dude, I don't want to waste another whole day. But at the same time, the more you do it, the problem is that we're not patient.
Yeah. Well, that too.
Because we want to get things fast. I want to be able to like think about my vlog, script it out, or not script it out, but like film it and put it online, and within 3 hours. Yeah. It's not, eventually I will be able.
Right. But there's there's a guy, like I remember watching guys on YouTube. And I always love to see like when they describe what the struggle was like before they hit stardom.
Yeah.
And the algorithm, the all powerful algorithm said yes.
Yeah.
And these guys, like, I remember the days when I had, 125 followers. And I thought that was a good number.
Yeah.
And now this guy's at like almost 785,000 followers, and one's at 1 million. Like, that's insane. Okay. Yeah. And you have to grind it out because it's like in any system, not just in social media, just not in online, in anything, you got to grind it out.
Just life.
You just got to keep sticking at it. Right. I think the best relationships are often ones of those where the partners grinded it out. They're like, okay, we got to work at this thing.
Yeah.
Okay. The honeymoon phase is over. And I'm not saying get past it. Like if you're in the honeymoon phase of your relationship, love every second of it, right?
Enjoy it, man.
Right. It's amazing.
And stay there as much as you can.
Yeah. Right. And then there's a time you're gonna have to grind. Like you gotta work at it. You gotta say like,
because you decided to make it work.
Right. Like my wife and I, we love each other. 100%.
You do.
We do.
It shows.
We love each other. And it's funny. We do things now that I only know because of grinding it out in the relationship.
Yeah.
Right? So I do things like when she often goes to bed before I do, because she puts one of our sons down and then she reads and then she goes to sleep, right? And so when I come into bed, one of my things before going to bed is I have to touch each of my family members that are in my house, right? Whether that's kiss, prayer, whatever.
Yeah. That's
what I do. Okay. So I always pray with my eldest son because I'm the one who puts him to bed often.
Okay.
So give him a kiss, touch him, like on his back, cool, whatever. And then it's bedtime, right?
Yeah.
And so I get in bed and I kiss my other son who's in my bed with me. And then my wife is there. Now I love her. I'm not waking her up because I've grinded this out. I'm not going to wake her up to kiss her. But what I will do, and I know that it's more of a reaction from her. And if she listens to this, don't worry. I love you, honey. I'll play footsies with her. And she hates it. It's so funny. Yeah. But it's me saying like, for me, it's I love you. And for her, she doesn't even know she's doing it because she's out. Like she's
okay.
And I'm like, and then I touch her foot and then she
pushes back,
kicks her foot like she be an NFL kicker like 100%. And so but I mean I learned that from grinding it out, right? The relationship gets better because of grinding it out. I being a communicator, I've said much worse things about our relationship and trying to convey a point, so she's probably not gonna be mad about that. But I think that comes with your New Year's resolution. You got to grind it out, right? And again, like the YouTube people, like I remember there was a guy who used to do like it's called like he's a wilderness guy, and I was one of his like first 100 subscribers.
Dude,
okay, I know, exclusive. And now he's at like 80,000 followers or subscribers, which is insane to think about, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's even more now because once you get to that number, it just keeps climbing, right?
Apparently it's easier.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like making your first million. Not that I have yet, but when I do, I'll let you know it gets easier after or not, right?
We will let them know.
We will. We will. And so it just kind of, starts climbing. And I'm like, man. And I even wrote out to him. I wrote to him on YouTube and I said, man, I'm so proud of the work that you've done and how far you've come along.
Nice.
And, and he replied back, which I was surprised because you don't have this many followers.
Yeah.
Are they going to respond back to you? And I wasn't looking for a response. I just wanted to give a word of encouragement, right?
Exactly.
And he responds back, and he's like, "Thank you so much for being a part of it," because you don't realize the role that you play, right? In this, right? Because you're encouraging someone else, especially when someone else is like living out their, they're trying to live out their New Year's resolution. Or like, let's say if it's eating for whatever. Don't tempt somebody if you know they're like trying to do no carb or whatever. Like,
exactly.
Don't just come up to them with a pie and be like, "You want to eat this?"
Exactly.
Stupid.
A lot of people do that.
No, I know, and I'm like, what's the point? Like, you're trying to be consistent. So I'm not gonna try and pull you away from what that is.
Yeah.
So,
but then again, like being consistent, I don't want to start off the year telling myself I have to be consistent in these 80 things.
Yeah.
Because I'm just not gonna reach it.
Right, but for you, it's. I think like I'm not telling you this has to done. What I'm saying in this. Your idea of your New Year's resolution is more a principle thing. Yeah. So you want to be consistent.
Yeah.
Period. Right.
Period. Exactly.
And so it's like that will just naturally start to, because you're going to start seeing yourself. Am I being consistent in this thing? Right. And I like the 80-20 principle or the 20-80 principle. Right. You get 80% of your work done, doing 20% of your effort.
Yeah.
Right. And then the other 80% of your work, you only get the last 20%. But you need all of that to be at 100%. Right.
Exactly.
So for me, expense report. I basically have to have I don't do seances, but I have to just sit down, prep myself that I'm going to have to put in 12 receipts and write down everything about this. And it is just brutal.
Yeah.
I leave and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Because you could be doing
a million things, right? And I'm doing whatever things
that you would enjoy actually.
Yeah. Well, enjoy work just that I'm gifted at, right? That I'm better at, right? But I have to, in this, I guess with using this year's theme, I have to finish the movement, right?
Yeah.
So,
dude,
I'm not excited about. Everyone's always, well, not everyone, but most people are excited about their New Year's. I'm not excited about mine because I know that it's going to change me.
Yeah. Exactly. It's gonna get you out of your comfort zone, right?
Yeah, totally. And so
yeah,
man. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about a New Year's resolution that I had that I failed. Not only day one, day two, still fail. And it was to never be late. That lasted, it didn't. Okay, so let's just move on from that. But what I did do is that I stopped being a half an hour late, which was good.
But you know that it is proven scientifically that it is impossible for non-white people to be on time, right?
Oh my gosh. This guy's talking to the wrong guy about that one, but scientifically, that's not verifiable. There's no facts in there. You can go fact check that. I'm not sure.
That's not. But I share the pain.
Yes. I think that the concept of time is much different in different cultures for sure.
Definitely.
Now that I live in North America, the concept of time is a 24-hour clock with 60 minutes to each hour. Oh.
And you have to take traffic into account. We have to be somewhere.
You got to be somewhere.
Yeah.
And being on time, as one person has told me, is next to God. That's pretty much it. You have to offend time is to offend God. And
that's a way of seeing it.
I kind of get it. I started I didn't realize it until somebody was late for me and extraordinarily late. Where at a time when I thought that would be okay late, right? Someone was as late as I would be to something, and I was furious. Just please.
Was that me?
No,
because I remember that at some point we went out for coffee and I was late, seriously late.
No, that's not it.
That was me. Okay,
no,
good.
Actually, if I remember the first time that someone called me on it too, it was two people actually. One was a guy that lives in Ottawa, and the other one here, I'll say his name because I'm okay with it, is Jasmin. Okay.
Yeah.
So Jasmin, bienvenue. I know it's got a wicked last. Jasmin Pierre, bienvenue. He's a pastor with Acts 21. Awesome dude. We were supposed to go for coffee. We still haven't been able to go yet, but it's gonna happen again. But I remember one time we were going out and we were chatting and whatever, and I said, "What is the thing that most aggravates you?" And it's like he had this thing loaded in a gun with this just thing. It was like he's just waiting. He's like trigger happy. He was waiting the whole conversation. Just say it once, Shawn. Just say it once, Shawn. Just say it. And he's like, when somebody's late, and it like ow, did you just shoot me with something? What happened? I realized that's me.
I've experienced that with him too, about being late and
yeah. So when he said that, I was like, oh, okay, I need to be on time. Gotcha.
Yeah, got your message.
Gotcha. But you know what the thing is, like, I think that has a part to do not with the character that I don't want to be late. I'm not trying to be like, oh, I need to make this extravagant. I see all these loose ends as I'm leaving to go somewhere, or transitioning is a better way. Like, and transitioning not in the way of transgender, just transitioning. I'm just saying.
Did you just go there?
I did. Going from one like scenario or scene to another scene. Okay. Like if you were going to, let's say, going from my house to the grocery store, as my wife loves to use this example. My wife, she gets up, she puts her shoes on, her jacket, and gets her car keys, and she's gone. Me, on the other hand, as soon as I get up, I see all of these things. I don't know what it is, but I just see, like, I observe a million things in our house. I'm like, okay, listen, I gotta deal with this. And if I go out now, if I take, all of this recycling right now, and it doesn't even fit in my arms, but I'm gonna make it work. And I'm trying to put my shoes on while.
Do we live in the same household?
I think something like that, right? and so I'm like, okay, I'm trying to get out of the house, and it's been like 20 minutes when it should have taken me 5 seconds, and I haven't even got out of the house. And then we get to the grocery store, and there's obviously something going to happen at the grocery store. Like I might walk down the cereal line, which I'm not even supposed to, or the chip line. I'm not even supposed to. And then I'll get to the cashier, and there'll be just this enormous lineup. And then I'll forget my wallet in the car.
Oh, man.
And so I have to go out of the car, run back, wait through the line. And my wife's like, why did it take you an hour? And I understand. I am terrible in transition. So that's why my thing this year is finish the movement. Because if all of my movements are finished, as my wife likes to preface, end that with a star note. And I will say also, it creates less work, which she's right.
It's true.
Right? So it's done. It did it. It's finished. It's done.
Yeah.
Then when I get up, I don't have to think about that thing anymore. And I tell my wife, that might change the way I think, though.
Yeah.
You know how I have these sporadic moments of brilliance, at least I think so. And then I'm never going to have them anymore because everything's going to be finished. But she says, no, think about the space you're going to have in your brain to now have those even brilliant thoughts to go deeper. I'm like, she got me. But yeah.
Wives are usually right.
Yeah, on those things. On those things.
But I definitely get you. And like the being late thing, it's hard for me too. I've gotten a lot better though, but I think it's culturally too, like you were mentioning earlier. Like I remember when I first started dating Grace, which is now my wife, and I think it was like the first Easter dinner at her parents, and we were so like obnoxiously late, like an hour and a half ish late. But it's because in my culture, Hispanic culture, you're probably all gonna agree, when someone invites you for dinner, it's not an appointment. It's chill. So I got there and people were waiting for us to eat. When I go at someone's, like at a Hispanic household for dinner,
right,
you get there, they're already eating. They don't wait after you. You just get in, grab a plate, start serving yourself. So in my mind, it's like, it's chill. There's no pressure. There's no stress.
Right.
And she's like, no. When someone says be there at 5:30, it's because at 5:30 we're eating.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you should have told me that before.
Right, but so I don't think we're listening. It's supper. We tune out. Supper.
Yeah.
Their place. Got you. I got what we're doing and location. Sometime when the sun starts to go down, that's when we need to be there.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Totally. Got you.
Exactly. And even then, it's chill. It's just hang out. Hey, welcome.
Right.
Just sit down. Like there's no stress. And then I remember getting there and it's like everybody was waiting. And then, oh, you're here. kind of feeling. Like, yep, I'm the new boyfriend.
I'm the new boyfriend. Way to start that one. No,
Yeah.
I get it. And I say this without, don't get mad at me, okay? But when you go to another place,
Yeah.
your idea is not to assert your idea, but to accommodate their idea.
Usually.
Right? So let's say you go to London, England, okay? And they have high tea.
Yeah.
Or they have whatever. And let's say it's at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And they call you to have high tea. Well, guess what you're going to have there? You're going to, even if you don't like it, you're going to have tea at 11 o'clock with cucumber sandwiches. This is how this works. And that is the culture. And I think what happens is that we try to bring our culture from over there and here we don't have it. Right? And so
Big
we get
mistake.
into but now if you were to go to a place where it's exclusively Hispanic people,
Dude.
then you're totally good to go, right?
You don't have to tell me twice.
Right. But now, like my wife, she's French Canadian, and which is their culture. And everyone's like, "Oh, you're black, Shawn." Well, no, actually, I would like to say that I'm just Canadian. I'm adopted, so all of those stereotypes you are already thinking about me, not true.
They do not apply.
Do not apply here. Like my dad was always early, my mom was always early.
But you still managed to not.
I managed to
time.
win that one, not knowingly, apparently.
Yeah.
And but it is what it is. Like so, like I was like, okay, well, I just need to adjust how I am and how I behave in this area, right? So that I have success in there. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. Like when you're doing your New Year's resolution, it's not about taking your New Year's resolution and the way you see it and asserting it on your surroundings. It's like, okay, here's how I have. So take your culture and place it inside of this culture, live it out within the parameters that you are, like your personal self, but adjusted to where you are at.
Yeah.
Right? Because when you get to if you were about to meet the queen or whatever, some high person in your culture, you would know all of the steps on how to greet that person, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And even if that's not you, you would do it. You're like, I need to do this. And
out of respect.
There is a beauty in it.
Yeah.
I really do think
it's not changing or it's not being double faced, it's just respecting.
It's respecting and it's humility. I think in a way you're being humble to like, okay, you know what? I'm not totally comfortable with this.
Exactly.
It's like when you first, if you're not a touchy-feely person and you come to Quebec and you realize everyone kisses everyone twice on each cheek, and then if they're from like Switzerland, it's like 3 times or whatever. I'm like, my gosh. If you're not used to this, you're like someone's invading your space, right? And then you get sometimes
I still have a hard time with that.
Totally get right. And then if you don't know, right? And so in Quebec, for the most part, it's opposite. So it's man woman, right?
Yeah.
And then women and women will do that kind of a kiss thing, right? And then it's not man thing.
No.
Did not know. Did not know. So I went in for that one. Got a weird look. And a couple of just starings after that. And then I realized that I was not supposed to do that.
I'm glad you had that one figured out before we met.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I was like, okay, well, I just need to adjust. This is where the culture is, right? And I think that's kind of what helps you in your system, right? So like you have a New Year's resolution and then it says you're like, I won't drink wine. Okay. Let's say that's my New Year's resolution. And then you go to your house and you're serving me wine. And it's just, and for you, this is like this most special, most ceremonial thing that you can do. Well, I'm not going to say no on the basis of the fact that this will be more, the disrespect fact will be much greater than my New Year's resolution, right?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
And so it's the way I take it. I walk out my New Year's resolution. So I'll say, okay, well, let's say my New Year's resolution is I don't drink wine. Well, I don't drink wine when?
Yeah.
Like, is it special? Sorry about that. Is it special occasions? Is it 0?
Yeah.
And if it's a 0 thing, then it's a 0 thing. Like I get it, right? And then you explain that, and I'm sure that the person will be courteous to that, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I still think that there's still ways of trying to overcome that. Like for example, in the last 6 months, I discovered that, or I developed, I guess, lactose intolerance.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's not. And dude, I love
in Quebec.
Yeah.
Oh my.
I love cheese. I love milk. Anyways, so I could go around going to the restaurant. Oh, excuse me, does that have lactose? Oh, can you please say, without it, or can you replace it? But instead of doing that, I just buy, like lactose intolerant pills. You know? Like when I go to a restaurant, I go at someone's, instead of like putting that burden onto everyone. Now, there's situations where you have to.
Yep.
There's allergies or there's whatever, or if financially it was better for me to just avoid lactose instead of buying those pills, I'd probably do it. I don't want to say everyone should do that, but instead of, like you say, instead of going around and like, I mean, there's both sides, right? Yeah. Instead of going around and putting that pressure on everybody, or like when someone invites me over, usually people ask like, "Oh, there's any allergies or whatever." I don't tell them. Yeah, I'm not like, "Oh, lactose."
Totally right. But you just prep yourself going in. It's like,
exactly
like I know that, like, when I keep saying the word "like," I hate that. Maybe I should go on a diet of the word "like."
New Year's resolution.
New Year's resolution. Finish the movement because it makes less work, and don't say the word "like." It's going to be a tough year
for you. Yeah.
Yeah, totally tough year. But when you go somewhere, are you thinking to yourself, I need to thrust this whole idea onto that person? No, yes, maybe so, whatever. Okay, maybe not. I kind of lost my train of thought, but yeah, definitely did. But what I'm trying to say is do you, like in your lactose intolerant, I feel bad for you. I'd gone through horrible. That. And I feel like a cat. If I don't drink it or have some kind of lactose consistently, it happens bad. Especially when I stop drinking smoothies for like a couple days on my vacation.
Yeah. Then you go back.
And I go back.
It's worse.
Worse. But now I remember my train of thought too, because I was exactly down the line. When I go away to something, and I know that I'm going to be like starved of that thing, or it's going to be absent in my life. Yeah. Then it's going to be absent. Just deal with it.
Exactly.
Like that's the end of the day. That's what I'm like. Oh, like I go on this fishing trip with a couple of coworkers, so we get some work done there. Whatever. Sometimes we don't get much work done, and the internet cuts out like about 15 minutes in. Yeah. Okay. And 15 minutes before you get to the location. Okay. So I'm like, obviously I call my wife, whatever. I'm going to be out for 3 days. Like I might get a signal. And if I do, it's going to be like smidgen of very weak. Right. And you just don't use it. Like I just adjust. Right.
Exactly.
And then you come out of the situation. You're like, oh, maybe I used it too much or whatever. Yeah. But you grow. And I think that's the deal, right? Is you know yourself, you know what you're going to do. You're like, okay, listen, I need to get better at this. I need to either let go of that and then deal with the situation the way that I deal with the situation. Yeah. Yeah. So that's it. I mean, New Year's resolutions, I think they're awesome. So give me a couple, so you've obviously had some that you've been successful at in your life. What were the keys to your success in that?
Accountability.
Okay.
In my case was with my wife, but find whoever you can in your life that can keep you accountable. In my opinion, but that's more because of maybe my personality, but I prefer to stick it to one person. Mm-hmm. If you need 2-3 people, do your thing, but accountability for real. That really helps you. And I'm not saying like find someone who's a burden in your life and is always going to text you every 5 minutes, but someone who can help you with that. And honestly, but this sounds so cliche, but it's so true. Like it's tried and true. Start small. Like be realistic about your goals. Mm-hmm. And something I discovered too, spread out your goal through different periods of the year. Mm-hmm. So, if my goal is to be consistent, well, the first 3 months of the year, I want to be consistent on this. And then and then push it up, mm-hmm. a notch further the second, trimester or whatever. So that's the way of doing, like breaking down your goals mm-hmm. instead of just saying, I'm going to go for a year to the gym. Yeah. How about you start with 3 months and then add another 3 months, etc.
That is not cool. Good. You get a phone call. And that's all right. We've got 2 other cameras running. We'll be okay. But yeah, like I see that, and like that's the way I see it. Make your audacious goal or not. Make it reasonable on the way up. Yeah. Like, you don't climb Mount Everest in one hop. Like you just don't. unless all of a sudden you have a helicopter and you can make it to the top. But then, obviously, if you have a helicopter to make it to the top, well, you've done some work in order to get that helicopter to go to the top.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, I'm sure that you getting to the peak of Mount Everest via a helicopter is not going to be nearly as fulfilling as you walking up it past the 250 dead bodies that are already on Everest right now, and walking back down them. That will feel like an accomplishment, and you will have some serious fulfillment of doing something like that. So I think that's kind of the way we see.
This sounds urgent.
It does. Maybe you should answer it, bud.
Maybe I should.
It's from your wife?
My sister, she's been calling. Like, she never calls me this often.
Give her a call, then take it up. I'm cool with it. Well, listen. So check it out, guys. This has been awesome. Jasper has a call he's got to take. And yes.
Well, life happens.
And he's got to be consistent. So he's going to do that. I'm going to finish the movement, and I'm going to finish the movement with you guys right now. Thank you so much. Check the links, subscribe, and we'll see you on the flip side.